Okay. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties, but we're here and we're glad you can join us. And please do submit your questions for us tonight on the Google Hangout page or the question and answer box on this page. So my name is Peter Liu, and I'm with David Russell, the host of the Global Brain Project. And this is the Global Brain Project Google Hangout, which we do every Friday night. And on Saturdays, we do the weekly global meditations. So I hope you can join us for that. And well, we're going to just get right into it since we're a bit late. So I'll introduce David Russell, the founder of the Global Brain Project. Go ahead, David.
Hello, everybody. How are you all? I hope you're all zippingly good. I thought I'd talk today about what's going on in the world. I mean, now is the time when we should all be meditating regularly, every day, twice a day. We need to send out as many good vibes as we can. There is so much tension in the world at the moment. We need to do something about it. I'm not saying we will do something about it, but we need to try. Intention is always the largest part of making things happen. And if we have the right intention in our hearts, and I always have the right intention in my heart, we should get things moving. There is so much tension in the world at the moment, and potentially, astrologically, everything is right for a positive conclusion to all these areas of tension. What needs to happen is wherever there is an area of tension, both sides need to commit to the concept of peace, the concept of resolution. If both sides commit to resolution, Jupiter, which loves agendas and stuff like that, will zip in there and support them, and things should be resolved. I mean, there is so much going on in the world at the moment. I mean, there's the Gaza thing, which is just dreadful. There's the Ebola epidemic. I gather that Atlanta have just got, lucky old Atlanta, have just got their first Ebola victim. It's spreading. And that's where the threat lies. It's not these isolated areas of tension in the Middle East. It's the global threat of an illness that's going to kill 90% of us if it gets away. I mean, this is much bigger than the bubonic plague. It's going to, if it gets out of control, it's going to rip through society and have a disastrous effect on it. We need to do something about that. We need to get the vibes going. We need to meditate. We need to do something about it. Okay, so that's my rant of the day. What else shall I talk about, Peter?
Okay, well, how about if we talk about what meditation does for us individually on a daily basis, and how our global meditations on the Saturdays can be a part of what you just mentioned.
Right, meditation. Innumerable benefits from meditation. And they are benefits that come in a number of different areas. There are health benefits. There are social benefits. There are creative benefits. Just the benefits are manifest. Traditionally, with meditation, you should feel more energetic, you should be more focused, you should get on better with people. Your life should be a smoother experience. You should be much less stressed. It takes a while for these things to come up, and they don't come up consistently in the same order for everyone or to the same extent for everyone. There is a Sanskrit aphorism that says, take it as it comes, and it's a really good aphorism. Don't look for benefits from meditation. Take it as it comes. The benefits are there. They are there. They will manifest themselves. Some benefits will become clear very early. Some will take a long time to come out. But trust me, I am speaking from my own experience here. The benefits are innumerable. They are innumerable. In every way, your life will improve through meditation. Your relationships will get better. As your consciousness increases and your stress decreases, it is bound to have an effect on how you interact with people. And how you interact with people is, of course, the pivotal point on which life exists. It's our interactions that create karma, create energy. It's how we interact with each other that has the biggest effect in life. And if you're meditating on a regular basis, you are going to interact with people in a much more benign, caring, understanding, intelligent, balanced way. One of the great things that meditation does for us is it brings balance to the system. It is a well-known phenomenon that in the early stages, a lot of people fall asleep when they start to meditate. And they fall asleep because what meditation does first is it balances the physical system. And people are usually much, much more tired than they realize. So the first thing you do is you get rid of that residual tiredness. After a week or a couple of weeks of falling asleep, you'll stop falling asleep. You'll no longer be that tired. All of the tiredness will have gone. That is just one of the grossest aspects of how meditation has an effect on balance. But it balances everything in your life. It balances your relationships, it balances your health, it balances your creativity. It is an amazingly balancing, sorry, that seems to be my word of the evening, doesn't it? It's an amazingly balancing thing. Meditation is so good for every aspect of the individual. I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows how I feel about meditation by now. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I've been meditating for 40 something or other years, 47 years or something, and I am more enthusiastic about it now than I have ever been. That means something. It really means something. For enthusiasm not only to sustain but increase over that long period of time, this must have something going for it. And it really does have something going for it. Meditation is just such a great and wonderful thing. It is the greatest gift that an individual can receive. It is the greatest gift that an individual can receive because it leads to fast-track evolution, and that's what life is all about. Okay, does that sort of deal with that subject, Peter?
Yes, very good. I was wondering if you could possibly talk about how the Global Brain Project first started, and you know, what was your motivation, and how did you begin? You know, the background of.
I wanted to write about consciousness for years. I'm a professional writer, and I mean, I wanted to write about meditation. I was very enthusiastic about it, as I am now. And I just could not. Consciousness is very difficult to define, to get a grip on, you know. I could not get a grip on what consciousness was about and how to talk about it in terms that people would relate to. And then one day I had this idea, and it was the Global Brain Project. It was just out of nowhere. Honestly, it just came to me out of nowhere. I had this idea. It was St. Valentine's Day 3-4 years ago, I believe. And the idea came to me on that day, during that day, I wrote the homepage, got a server, and got the homepage up on the internet in just that first day. And the rest of the site kind of, oh, you know, I talk about meditation being an organic thing, but that's because consciousness is an organic thing. And the rest of the website just kind of fell out of me organically, as it were. I didn't actually plan on any of it. I just responded to what I felt related to the overall concept of the global brain, things that would explain it further. I mean, on the homepage, I talk about the neurons, how we are all neurons, and how we can all connect. But I don't actually explain anything about how the brain works, how brainwaves work. I don't talk about quantum physics, which also relates very closely to this. I don't talk about karma. I don't really talk about meditation. However, when you get into the website, as I'm sure you know, I talk extensively about these things. I explain them in considerable depth, and everything spins off from that homepage. It is the homepage that, I mean, as homepages should be, that is the crux around which everything else, the focus around which everything else spins. The concept of the global brain, I've had the concept of the global brain, well, have I had it? I have had the concept of the global brain for many years, and it comes from a book, of the very first book written by Peter Russell. Peter Russell also talks about the global brain. In this book, he did not talk about the global brain. This book was about Gaia theory, and at the time I read it, which must have been 1969, maybe 1970, I thought, well, you know, if you've got all these systems that replicate systems within the physiology, where's the brain? And I thought about that for a long time. And in the final analysis, there is only one conclusion to come to. We must be the brains of the world. We must be the neurons. What else is there that moves the world on? It's us. I mean, the world has karma, of course, but it's essentially us. We move the world. We create events in the world. We progress the world. We are the world. We are the neurons. We are the global brain. Okay, any more?
Yeah. So in your vast experience of meditating, and then also coming up with the Global Brain Project and the weekly meditations, which have been going on for a number of years now, do you see in your view, do you see there's a shift going on throughout the world in terms of the global brain becoming manifesting in terms of a coherent entity, or the neurons integrating and creating a shift in consciousness?
There is very definitely a something big happening in the world. I mean, this all comes from 1967. In 1967, something tremendously big happened, and I have to say it's all down to Albert Hofmann and LSD. At that time, there was no internet, of course. So what happened was you had pockets of consciousness, geographically isolated pockets of consciousness. In America, that happened in Haight-Ashbury, but in fact it happened all over the place in America. Here, it was in London, but also there were small areas in other places. It happened in Paris, it happened in Berlin. All these isolated outbreaks of increased consciousness. We were all isolated at that stage. We were isolated because there was no way for one group to communicate directly with another. what's happening now is the same thing is happening, but we can communicate directly with each other. Through the internet, we have the instant communication that replicates the kind of communication that neurons have between themselves. Neurons communicate comparatively instantaneously over vast distances. And through the internet, so do we. We are doing exactly what neurons do. And that has a cumulative effect. Um, as we talk about consciousness, I mean, you must have heard the phrase, it's in the air. Well, it's in the air. We are talking about consciousness. Consciousness is happening all around us. People are feeling it in the air, and they are responding to that. And I think that this is like a snowball rolling down a hill. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Ultimately, it will get big enough that it overwhelms the negative stuff in the world. However, we can't wait for that. We have to do something about what's going on in the world now. That means A, meditating, B, getting out on the street with our banners and shouting our mouths off. The only way to bring about change is to shout about what you need. Meditation produces the backdrop against which the right kind of change can be produced, but it's only through protest and action that change actually is produced. Okay, any more?
Yeah. So yeah, it's been my view for a while that there needs to be this kind of coming together of what you're talking about between um, social transformation and change and meditation, basically spiritual component. And it seems to me that that's what's beginning to come through. I come into contact with people who are involved in social activists who are becoming aware of the power of meditation to, as you said, to provide you with the backbone and the backdrop to creating action that is meaningful and actually transformational. So do you see, are you in contact or do you hear about more of this coming together of these two sort of primary components of creating change in the world?
I monitor what is going on very closely. There are a lot of groups doing exactly what we're doing. The difference is that we provide times that everybody can relate to, and that really is the only difference. Our time chart is a really good aid for people in every time zone to know exactly when they should be doing it. The trouble with most of these events is they put a time in and they don't, it's a local time zone time. It's not a universal time. So nobody really knows when they're supposed to be joining it. And these things, the power of these things is in doing it all together. It's really, really, really important. Meditation, our meditation works because we all start at the same time. We all do it together. And that's where the energy comes from. That's why people have such good experiences when they join our meditation events. It's because they're meditating supported by hundreds of other people also meditating. And we create an energy stream that everybody who is involved joins. That energy stream is a very potent and powerful thing. I mean, I can actually see the energy stream as almost an electrical grid. And when you get down to it, what we're talking about here are waveforms. We're talking about things that have no substance, that are merely a frequency, a wave. And what we do is that energy field is the wave we are creating. And every time we meditate, we create that wave. And every time that wave hits the world, I mean, the world responds to that. It does respond to it. The cosmos really loves what we're doing. The cosmos supports us so strongly in what we're doing. It loves everyone who does it. I mean, it is just such a great thing for the world to have. However, we are not the only people doing it. There are lots and lots and lots of other people doing it, lots of groups, lots of meditations, but in the final analysis, people should do their meditation every day, twice a day, at the same time. Ingrid and I meditate every day at the times we give for the Saturday meditation. And anybody who would like to join us at those times, please do. You will have a much better experience. I promise you. You'll have a much better experience if you join us at that time. We have fantastic experiences. I mean, at the moment, we can't wait to meditate. We're starting 5 minutes before we're supposed to. We're just so enthusiastic to get in there. We just can't wait. So we start 5 minutes before we're supposed to. And usually we go on a lot longer than we're supposed to as well. But that's not because we try. It's because that's the way it happens. And that is the way it should be for everybody. You meditate for a specific time. If you miss the time and are having a deep experience, go with it. Stay there. Stay with the experience. Only come out when you come out naturally. Don't force yourself out. Stay with the experience. Enjoy. You're having a blissful experience, you know. Enjoy it, please. Okay. Any more, Peter?
Yeah, that's wonderful. I just have one more question, David. Yeah, that was really great. Do you think there is do you have thoughts on the relationship between the global consciousness and, say, physical activities such as like electromagnetic fields and sort of energy coming, you know, from the magnetic fields of the Earth and the Sun? Do you have any thoughts on the relationship between those things? Do those electromagnetic fields affect us, or do we affect them?
Oh, I'm sure they affect us. I mean, we are part of the cosmic system, and within the cosmic matrix, everything affects everything else. We might not be aware of the effects, but of course, everything must have an effect. There are energies within the world that are so subtle. I mean, the energy that we generate as a meditating group is pretty subtle. I mean, the only way we know that we're generating it is we all have these good experiences. But yes, there are so many energies within the world, and yes, they do all have an influence on us. Most of them are very positive, though. I mean, there are lots and lots of energies that, I mean, karma itself is an energy. Karma pushes us into situations and then demands that we deal with them. And we deal with them in the best possible way, the best way we can. But that karma is an energy field. It's not something you can touch or feel, or it just is there and you experience it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, that's very good. Thank you. Thank you very much, David. I think that since we started so late, I think to respect everybody's time, we should probably end right here.
Yeah, sure.
But I would like to encourage everybody that's watching this to submit questions if you'd like for the next broadcast, which would be at the same time next Friday. And do please join us for the meditations tomorrow at Saturday, 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 11 a.m. UK time, and 12:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 5:30 UK time.
Excellent.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, thank you very much, David, for
Oh,
sharing.
thank
Uh,
you, Peter. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
okay. And we'll
And
see you
we'll
next
we'll
week.
see you next week.
And please invite your friends to join us for both the Hangout and the meditations. The more we have, the more powerful we will become in changing the world that we want to see. Okay, good night, David.
Good night, Peter. Thank you. Bye.